To Be or Not to Be Evil. Author Shay Rastegar. Reading by the author. Copyright 2021. Absolutely all rights, including but not limited to copying and usages of words and phrases and all the voices and sounds and readings of this book and audio for any use bar none, including but not limited to all films and movies and education in all countries are reserved for the author, Sheida Rastegar, Shay Rastegar. Violators will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Period. Sheida Rastegar, attorney. Contact attorneyshay @gmail.com. Dallas, Texas. Phone number 972-375-7900. Preface. I have notes that date back to 1981. Well, maybe I should begin at the beginning. Preface is all about the history of what happened, that the book began to happen. The first notes about this book are when I realized my future son was on his way to this world. I had made other plans which real quickly changed. I began writing notes to my son. Some of them don't make much sense now when I look at them, such as, quote, "The thing about life is that life is life," unquote. I must have had a point at the time that made sense. Maybe something or someone interrupted my writing, and I never went back to finish it in time to make sense of it. But I couldn't figure it out now. Of course, some of my notes are more profound, such as, quote, "Life is not about being lucky like receiving a good hand in a game of cards. It's more about how you play the cards that you are handed," unquote, period. And, quote, "I'm afraid to live your life won't be much about love, but more about courage," unquote. It goes on, and at times there are no notes for a good long time at intervals. Then there is another, about a book I had just reread, which I thought he may like. I believe it was Mr. Alan Alexander Milne's The Winnie the Pooh. In one of the notes, I tell him about The Think and Grow Rich by Mr. Napoleon Hill, and the fact that it's not finished until you have arrived at your destination. So there was no sense in stopping, unless it was a tactical stop. I believe I was making a comment about the part that the young Napoleon's uncle quit digging some 3 feet before reaching one of the largest gold mines in the U.S. This is as good a place as any to tell you about the salute that I give in the book. Quote, "Here is to here and here is to now," unquote. I've made this salute myself and have used it for many years. Thus I have coined it, and it's mine. Of course, please use it, and remember me when you do. It has a philosophical meaning for me that I intend to deliver to you in another book soon. Suffice it that the lower case here is an old salute gesture, as in, here is looking at you, which Mr. Bogart uses in the classic movie The Casablanca, which I also mention in the present book. However, the second here, the uppercase here, which I say, is my reference to heaven, as here is heaven, and now is what should be cherished, as yesterday is history, and tomorrow has not arrived yet, and that I like it, that I am here, and now with you. In other words, it's a pleasure to me to be here with you, now, in the present. Still to today, after 40 years, I have not stopped writing notes with a date on it, except now I try to be more careful to make it more coherent for a future read. At first I thought I was going to write a book, one big book, so I kept waiting for the right time to begin. Then I realized that this was not one book. It was many books, and that now was the time to write them, one by one. The subjects will be varied, but philosophically they come from the same source. This first one, the to be or not to be evil, was not intended to be written as a rhythmic prose. It flew out that way. I just didn't stop it. I figured it was because of the way I think and not because of the way I write. And incidentally, the story of the 100th monkey became rather rhythmic as well, and it is not written that way originally by Mr. Ken Keyes Jr., the author who has generously given permission to use the story. I had the book written long before I had it down on paper. In my mind, of course. I just had not noticed that in English it may sound like a rhythmic prose piece. Well, it does. And it sounds right to me. That's the exact picture that I had drawn. You see, pictures don't have accents. My personal salutes to you and yours. Here is to here, and here is to now. Shay Rastegar. To be or not to be evil. Call me Baba. Most people that know me and the story of my life do. I have earned the title. It means Papa. I used to think that I am Baba because I am a father. Then the facts dawned on me. You see, to embrace fatherhood, I have paid with my soul. I have paid so dearly that before I knew it, there was only fatherhood left of what was once me. Or was it I? Therefore call me Baba. Most people that know me and the story of my life do. My son says that I am an oral philosopher, a philosopher who thinks on his feet, an orator with a philosophical mind, a lover of knowledge. I am a practicing attorney by trade in the great Lone Star state of Texas. Hence, a clarification is in order without further ado. Please be notified in bold letters that if you are looking for a great American novel here, you might as well close the book or stop listening, whichever may be, and clear. Because we are building a church of sorts here, a way to perceive life and living pleasant, to simply act with wisdom and courage, like life, and let life like you, a world built with the bricks and mortars of your passions, your desires. To pleasantly view and interpret all things is our cause and our goal, and that shall be the ball in the hole. And a novel would crowd this, you understand. Clearly, you're still with me. You didn't walk away. You are listening. This could be the beginning of a beautiful relationship, paraphrasing the great Humphrey Bogart in the classic movie The Casablanca. But I don't think you're here to watch an old movie with me. Maybe later? Now you're here for a cause. And to begin our saga, you are going to take a walk with me. A spirit walk, an etheric walk, if you like. The type of walk that delivers you to places and situations with no fear of repercussions. You know, the kind that you gain knowledge without having to pay for the consequences. It's a good deal, I might add, isn't it? Now, let's pick one of these subway stations in a very crowded city. Say, New York City, and in a blink of an eye, here we are. As you see, the people are passing by each other, kind of maneuvering around one another, almost as if in a sequence, walking and talking, and shopping, and haggling, and smiling, and laughing, and poking, flirting, and joking. And then there is one, right, that one. This one person seems to be in a rush, an accelerated onslaught, totally out of sequence, with the well-orchestrated theme of the subway station, hitting everyone in his path, shouldering people and opening his way, with a chaotic force, pushing people. Men and women and children fall and tumble to the hard subway floor. He rams his way through and keeps moving, and watch out, he pushes you to a pole to cross as he had many other people. Now, stop right there. This is a spirit walk for you. You stop right there before you react. Do not even talk. He did not touch you, much less see you. And you did not sense anything, not really. That's a fact. This is only a scene for a picture. No other senses involved. Just a picture. No feelings of being wronged, no emotions of fear, of anger. Just the picture. Look around you and observe what he has left in his wake. A lot of people on the hard, cemented floor. Fruits and vegetables from the vendors' carts and people's groceries, rolling and tumbling, smashed grossly. But you must ignore the chaos, the pain, the anger, and the remnants of fear on the cemented floor, mixed and rolled in with the purses and briefcases fallen all over from their hands. and a few bloody noses and lips and achy knees and elbows and lots of bruised egos. They are all either shouting curses and cusses or quietly mumbling profanities. They sound like a chorus line, a profane chorus line, like a Greek tragedy chorus line with lamentation predicting a sorrowful world, inviting all to join an inevitable dark dimension. Pay close attention. Close your eyes and feel the change of the atmosphere in this crowded underground subway station, immersed in anger and fear. Can you find joy? Is delight here? How about fun, gusto, contentment, happiness, laughter? Of course not. What you feel is horrid. It's pain, tension, and anger blended in fear. Pleasant is not anywhere near here. Open your eyes now. Would you like to join this energy in the atmosphere? That is the question you must ask yourself. To join or not to join an energy fueled by anger, moved by fear, revenge and hate, inspired by self-righteousness and bruised egos hidden in pride. You could almost feel and see the dome of the dread, the forceful energy of fury, however weak and sad, of panic driven by a sense of mad. I call this the Abyss Temple. It's like a church, not really, a place of worship, nay, a place with a force of magnetism, a great magnet of sorts. It's built on self-interest and self-righteousness. As the number of the members grow, it gains more and more anger, fear, and hate. Incidentally, would you like to join this house of dread? This kind of fate? Well, probably no one will ask you to join this magnet, but if you as much as say a word in a reactive mode about the situation in the subway station with a wave of anger, fear, or hate, or a feeling of judgment or self-important attitude, you will have given the password and actively joined the House of Dread, with or without a conscious decision or mind. The good thing is that you are only on a spirit walk with no repercussions. A good deal, right? Keep the picture, though. And now, let's visit Palestine of what is considered the past. Blink your eyes, and here we are. And yes, that glory would be Yahshua Yahu Isa, Lord Jesus Christ, coming back from Mount Olives. He is crowded by the mob demanding the Mosaic stoning, accusing a woman of adultery. And yes, of course he sees you even though no one else does. Watch the master at work. Notice his wisdom confronting evil and the mob control tactic without shedding blood in the midst of a crowd with a thirst for blood. Calm, coherent, reasonable. He delivers a well-worded, simple declaration and procedure for the proper stoning and execution of the law. Quote, "He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her." Unquote. Brilliant, pure, peacemaking wisdom. He saved life without an argument or fight, and the mad crowd that was not going to be refused was diffused. But then again, to be or not to be is the question for you. Would you be the man without sin who first cast a stone? The law and order, mind you. After all, stoning is the law. At least it was then. But then again, is this about the law or is it about self-righteousness? The magnet of the Abbess Church is beckoning. Yes, even then it did, and it does always. Of course, for you, the alternative is to stay in your own plateau and we move back. Or is it forward now? And no, you cannot stay here with the master. Just take the pictures. And as we walk our spirit walk, we will consider the concept of the story of the 100th monkey. It may prove to be helpful with your decision-taking in life. You should understand now that the 100th monkey has nothing to do with the number 100. The number 100 is just a number that has been picked as a critical number, a point of no return of sorts. Mr. Ken Keyes, Jr., the author, while giving permission to use the story in whole or in part, writes, quote, "This book is dedicated to dinosaurs who mutely warn us that our species which cannot adapt to changing conditions will become extinct," unquote. Mr. Key's dedication to dinosaurs, which I did not take personally, does not seem to help much with our decision as to who would be, without sin, to first cast a stone. But this paraphrased story may have a way to shed some light on the human plight of what could be wrong and could be right. The story is that in 1952, In the island of Koshima, the scientists were experimenting on a species of monkeys called Macaca fuscata with sweet potatoes. Well, they were trying to feed the monkeys these sweet potatoes. They threw the sweet potatoes on the sand, and a little monkey girl had an idea so good, and it turned out to be not just good, but grand. Here is the way the story goes in his own words, of course including some poetic liberties taken by me about the story of the 100th monkey. The Japanese monkey Macaca fuscata has been observed in the wild by the scientists and by some loving amateurs as well since 1948. For a long time there is no debate, and for a good reason too. In 1952, on the island of Koshima, the scientists, attempting to lure them closer for observation, threw sweet potatoes on the sand for the monkeys to eat. Some monkeys picked them up, and some threw. Some bit into them, and some spit them out. It seemed they may have liked the sweet potatoes, but not seasoned with the sand. A little girl monkey named Emo, only 18 months of age, determined to properly try and eat the new delicacy, picked up her sweet potatoes in hand, and proudly, like a princess she was, walked to the stream and washed off the sand from her sweet potato, and dignified she ate, and some say washed her hand. But that's not the end of the story of the little monkey girl with her sweet potatoes seasoned with sand in a far-off Japanese island. Oh no, that is not. Emo taught her mother how to really enjoy the sweet potatoes, and she did not stop there. She taught her playmates about this trick, and might have even whispered, some say, to her playmates to teach their own mothers the virtues of the use of the stream and the delight of eating sweet potatoes unseasoned and washed from the sand. But the saga of Emo and her innovation did not stop there. Between the years 1952 and 1958, the scientists observed that basically all the young monkeys on Koshima, Emo's island, had learned how to wash the sand off the sweet potatoes before consumption. And more, much more than this, she did it her monkey way, and some say she saw things through without exemption. As the mind once stretched to a new dimension, views all things in a new light, whether on mainland or an island. I have heard the story that Emo did with the wheat that the scientists threw on the sand, as she had done with the sweet potatoes soiled with sand. But to continue the story of the sweet potatoes soiled with sand and the ripple effect Emo had spawned, it should also be noted here that the scientists also observed, with no further note, that only the adults who imitated their children learned how to use Emo's social skill. That is, the other adults kept eating the sweet potatoes seasoned with sand in the Koshima Island. And then the saga of the ripple effect continued with an astonishing event in the fall of 1958. As the story goes, and the exact number no one knows, but to understand the situation, let us suppose when the sun rose on this fall morning in the year 1958, there were 99 monkeys who had learned to wash the sweet potatoes in the stream to get rid of the sand on the Koshima Island. And this morning, in the fall of 1958, a young, newly of age monkey had the opportunity and learned to wash her sweet potato in the stream clean of sand, and became the 100th monkey who washed her sweet potato in the stream before she ate in the Koshima Island. And this incident was not planned, though before the sundown that day in the fall of 1958, it seems that every monkey cousin of Emo and every playmate, every neighbor, and every friend, far and near, both foe or dear, ran down their respective trees, grabbed some sweet potato for free, and ran to the stream to wash in a rush. It was such a fiasco that Emo, the original VIP at the stream, could not find herself a spot to wash and eat in the sweet water stream of the Koshima Island. There seemed to be an explosion of energy, an ideological breakthrough with the advent of the 100th monkey. Yes, that was unplanned, but so grand. However, notice, please, that the magnificence of this grand event manifested not only and just in the Kushima Island. The new skill of washing the sand off the sweet potatoes jumped over the seas and over the land to a whole bunch and troops of other monkeys in other islands, other lands. The Takasakiyama Monkey Park monkeys way across the seas, who had never seen sweet potatoes before, showed an instant skill at washing the sweet potatoes before they eat, and the colonies of monkeys on other islands needed no push to wash the sand off the sweet potatoes before they eat. In fact, at the sight of the sandy sweet potatoes, they all rushed down the trees like monkeys, these advanced monkeys. Thus, it can be surmised that when certain critical number of monkeys achieve an awareness, the awareness may be communicated from mind to mind, monkey to monkey, not limited by land, not limited by sea. This could further mean that when an idea, sensible or insane, is known only by a limited number of monkeys, that is, less than the critical number, before reaching the proverbial 100th monkey, it remains resting, kind of dull, in potential, in the consciousness of these monkeys. But there is a point at which, if only one more monkey tunes in to the new awareness, a field of some sort explodes to activation, so that this awareness is picked up by every monkey all over the earth, all over the land, all over the seas. Wow. Should the humans be as smart as monkeys? Maybe one of us, maybe you or I, can be the 100th monkey. Could it be that the 100th monkey effect is a phenomenon applicable to human species? But let's continue our spirit walk with no repercussions and consider a coin and find out which side of it is good and which side bad, which side is right and which side wrong, which side is happy, which side sad. Then again, what if neither side is bad? What if I am right, and you are right too. What if one could not exist without the other? What if my existence cannot be without you? What if we are the two sides of the same coin? What if to be here and exist, we must both exist, like the two sides of one coin? Let us consider some facts. I, Sheida Rastegar, known as Shay, declare that the opposite of August is August, with certainty, as it takes two opposite hemispheres to make a planet a round one, and two to tango for those who like to dance chick to chick. I added this as a wit. You see, in the southern hemisphere of the earth, in the countries such as Brazil, the month of August is rather cold. The month of August is such a winter in Argentina. It could mean snowstorm and blizzard, so cold, so bold. While in the northern hemisphere, which is the opposite side of the same planet Earth, believe you me, in some places and cities such as Los Angeles, and more often than not in San Francisco, it's rather hot. The month of August is so hot in Texas, according to some Texas tale, that the fresh corn on the corn stalk pop to popcorn. Would you believe that? That's hot, not cold, but bold. I may not be such a classic poet with a fancy rhyme, but the poem and the rhyme is mine, so it's fine. And furthermore, it delivers the point that I am driving at, and that is that a coin has to have two sides to be a coin, legitimate and proper, or else it's just a flat surface at best, and definitely not a coin, gold, silver, stone, or copper. A coin without two sides is not proper. Now stay with me a bit longer, and this train of thought, we can take a rest from the spirit walk and do a train of thought ride. That would be nice and mild. A pleasant change of pace and a mind ride. Yes, we shall do a spirit train ride. That's rather different. It's wild. Now we will focus on our journey of to do or not to do. We have considered without a decision, what if there is no bad or good? What if it's only a matter of taste or mood? What if bad is only what we don't like personally? What if good is only what we believe is good? What if my taste is different and unlike your taste? what if you consider my taste bad? What if I consider your taste rude? Which one of these persons, which one of us will be good, and which one evil? Or is it just bad? What if neither I nor you know what is good? And worse, what is evil? Then is either one of us good or evil? What if good and evil is not a matter of opinion or taste, but a personal attitude? After all, when we contemplate the latitude, it certainly seems that everyone gets a plate and much the same plentitude. When it rains on me and it rains on you. In fact, it rains on everyone else the same way as me and you. When the sun shines, it shines on everyone, even on the people that you or I may consider bad or evil. What if in the eyes of Providence it does not make any difference? What if our taste, even our taste for food, is based on our genetics, our chemistry, or our blood types, not just our mood? What if only our measly and limited learnings and experiences are the basis of our judgments? What if there is no right or wrong, no bad or good? Oh no, there has to be good. It is just not good without good. And no good makes us look bad, too bad. Then again, if there is good, bad must be there too. Or else, how can you tell what is good? Good needs a bad too. We can tell good from bad when there is both good and bad, and that is good, not bad. Bad is not always evil, and bad and evil are not equal. Bad changes among people with time and taste, but evil remains evil, rather stable, no haste. Evil is not bad, or even too bad. The opposite of evil is not good. Good is too undefined to be good enough to oppose evil. The dictionaries and learned philosophers and what not run around with vague, nice-sounding words, confused about good. And that is no good. No, good is not the opposite of evil, and that is good. But to put you back in your spirit travel mood, here is something good. Here is the powerful opposer to evil, soothe. The opposite of evil is wisdom. Therefore have no fear, the all-powerful wisdom is here. Evil cannot be detected by a simple good or bad checkmark. Wisdom shall keep evil at bay from afar and near. And we are to be on our spirit travel from here. And yes, we will consider some more what-ifs. Have no fear. What if all of these are just a matter of school of thought or a personal twist of aesthetics? What if none is a matter of the truth? What if the truth is that everyone is right? Have you considered that? Does that mean we should be equitable, impartial, and fair about everyone's feelings and everyone's tastes, pleasures, and affair? Likes, dislikes, and rights? What if it's just that some people like burger, while others like hot dogs? Oh, of course, we've got the answer for that question, don't we? You are free to do as you wish, as long as you don't infringe on my liberties and rights, right? Oh, goodness, what if my liberties infringe on your liberties and desires? What if your liberties and desires infringe upon mine? What if my vampiric needs to maintain my way of life is to suck out your life, your liberties out of you? What if my way of life is just to take all resources, all freedoms and lands, and to leave in my wake injured women and children trembling cold in fear, in hunger and pain in their mothers' injured hands? In your country, in your home, in your land. Yes, what if the tables are turned around and you are the one who is to suffer from this blood-sucking, our way of life loving, Draculian band? Keep these questions in mind, and we will blink our way to the Sultan's palace and observe the grand. And here we are. Today is a special day in the realm, and the Sultan has nudged the Prime Minister to summon all His Majesty's ministers and dignitaries to his palace for lunch. You have heard something of this incident, I have a hunch. As you see, the utensils by design are about 7 feet long or longer, and the dignitaries very indignant, dealing with their present state of affair and hunger. They are all offended, red and blue, and rather upset, pounding their feet. They leave with no leave to leave. Just for you to know, to leave anyone before taking a leave generally is rude. It's a bad idea. To just get offended and leave pouting without caution while dealing with a powerful man like a sultan, or a president for that matter, is not just rude or imprudent. It is a really bad idea. It could be a cause for execution. However, on our spirit walk things are a little different. As promised, no repercussions, not even a cautionary persecution. The Sultan, who is watching from the observation hall this pitiful scene of the dignitaries acting so undignified, so predictable, obtuse, so dull, now has sent for the dervishes from the nearby monastery to come to his court. And, of course, as you can see, they did at once. The Sultan offers them to eat without much ceremony while he watches. They all abstain with humility, and their elder, begging leave to speak, softly informs the Sultan that there are other hungry people out there, more deserving of the Sultan's kindness and generosity than a humble dervish. All this food should go to them, they humbly wish. Of course, the Sultan takes heed, sends out food for the poor in town, and to the dervishes he says, "Now eat." And, as you can see, the dervishes are all offering the other to sit and eat first, while each is at the point of starvation from long terms of fasting, ascesis, and meditation. The Sultan, seeing this mode of operation, decreed that they must all sit at the same time, and do that with no further hesitation. They all sit delighted and picked up the long spoons with pleasure, and began feeding the person at the end of the length of their spoon with measure, as if it is the most usual and normal etiquette to do lunch feast or banquet, feeding a person 7 feet away with a long spoon. A person you may know well, or one you know not in the least, while you are being fed with a long spoon at length by a stranger or a friend in this very interesting lunch feast, crisscrossing spoons congenially, not acting like a beast, but actually and visibly enjoying the feast. To witness this form of eating, or is it feeding, in such natural harmony, if you didn't know any better, you would think this is the proper way to eat. The Sultan is pleased, as you clearly see by the big smile on his face. And as he had planned, he has proved that the cabinet of the Prime Minister is a worthless bunch, and these humble monks, the dervishes, that understand life and know how to live it, are more fit. Keep this picture. It's a pleasant picture. Now have a quick glance at nature and existence. When you and I stand close to one another and it rains on both of us, regardless of which one of us may be the proverbial good or bad. We are given the same right to the rain and basically the same share of it. Of course, one or both of us may refuse to get wet and step under a cover or use an umbrella. Now, that would be our freedom to choose, to receive the benefits of the rain or not. The rain may be a blessing, but to a human armed with the freedom of choice, some blessings are too wet. The rain keeps giving yet. Sometimes we are showered with friends and family love and care, but we feel too crowded upon, too wet for us in their shower of attention. Sometimes we do make that fuss, and we choose to interpret this as being too much. Showered literally with too much love and attention. We feel our right to privacy of being alone and without friends and family is being violated. We choose to interpret their actions unpleasantly, and we end up left alone with our right to privacy. So alone that looks more like lonely, not just alone. Too much claim to a right to privacy from love and affection is not just private, it's sad. Now, that's lonely and not just unpleasant, desperate and dreadful as in the dome of dread, not just simple bad. We do have that freedom among our freedoms, I suppose, a right and freedom to sad. But a spirit journey is just to observe and not to classify this as mad. After all, that is not a part of your planned and guided spirit travel with me, and that's good, not bad. However, to brave the rain is a part of this journey. So is to wisely interpret and understand things pleasantly, and to get soaked in the pleasant. After all, we live in the world we attract, and we attract the world we see and we think of at all times. The world that we like, the world that likes us, and we are immersed in. When we sense life pleasantly, that is where we live, in the pleasant, with all the rights and the privileges to the pleasant. Any one of us could be the 100th monkey and brave the cleansing river. And behold that it is the pleasant that shall attract the pleasant. As for you who has taken pictures and traveled with me, keep the pictures and remember the stories too. Just to recap the journey and the choices we faced, to join or not to join the dome of dread, to be or not to be the self-righteous man that presumes to be without sin and dare to first cast a stone, to behave like the dignitaries or to act like the dervishes at the Sultan's palace. As a probable 100th monkey, what would you rather trigger? To be or not to be evil? That is the call for all. And you have the coins for the paths in life in your hand. You must flip them, one by one or more, and live. To flip the coins is the call. Always remember and hear my voice in your ear. Courage is our creed. Wisdom, an allegiance, and a band. Courage is magnificent, and wisdom is great. Courage and wisdom are always best, hand in hand. It is not a matter of which side of the coin is good and which side bad. Look at it this way. So what if we don't like or appreciate what is dished out to us? So what if we are not in the mood for what the society, nature, the universe gives to us as good? What are we to do about that? There are some socio-economic, somewhat political, rather radical solutions, such as anarchy, revolutions, and fights, That one might want to consider. But then again, are they right? The question is old, but you must be bold. The tyrants have might, and they seem to be right. At least they take it upon themselves to tell us what is right for us and what is good, whether we are or not in the mood. So overthrow the tyrants we should, and bring to power a new and improved leader, who tells us by his politics and policies what is our right and what is good, and welcome to a new world with a new order, to include a new and reconstrued set of laws and border. And how long can we stand, would you say, before we must revolt against the new tyrant we have brought to power, the new power hoarder? Then again, it's for you to decide, to perceive or not to perceive the world as a place only to fight. Furthermore, you might want to consider that maybe it is true that we don't have much to do with what the universe or the people in it may dish out. But we do have the right and also the power to perceive and interpret whatever is in the dish that is dished out to us. Now, that is a right and power one must not lose for any excuse. You see, in a flip of a coin, we don't seem to have much control over which side of the coin lands. But we do have all the control over how to perceive what we receive when it lands. Now, that is control over your own destiny. That is true happiness, I bear witness. That is something to stand for. A right that cannot be taken. A true, inalienable right. Now, this is a true might. A right to perceive whatever we receive. The point is, you are the captain of your life. The helm, the rudder, and the steerage are all in your hand. It is only a matter of courage and wisdom to be pleasant when the coins land. And without further ado, we shall deal with the matter at hand. In one church, call it way of life, and this way of life is rather large and powerful. Everyone is in a rat race to make someone sad. It's mostly dreadful, aggravating, and often mad. In the other way of life, call it church if you wish, it seems everyone helps another one to their desires and passions and goals. In this world, strange as it seems, everyone feeds someone else when he is hungry himself, and builds a house for another while he is homeless himself and cold. It's strange but bold. It's while building another man's dreams based on his passion and desire for him, with no expectation of return, that our own dreams, desires, and passions are built and achieved and manifest for us in this way of life. A world and way of life that has grown to such wisdom and understanding to perceive all things pleasant, and thus to find the courage to see all tasks through, once undertaken, with a smile and a happy countenance. It's a pleasant coup d'etat of sorts to bring about a way of life, a church of sorts, a world in which a gentle wise achieves his desires and passions with pleasant peace in ease. Of course, this was only a spirit walk with pictures and sounds, and the story of the 100th monkey may be questioned by those certain of their knowledge. While you have the right and the liberty to take that choice, always remember a pursuit of wisdom with courage, geared to a pleasant understanding of things, is rather more pleasant. Basically, when in doubt, take the pleasant understanding route, to see the cup half full, to enjoy the night and the dark for its serenity while it lasts, to look forward to the next daylight and maybe a glorious sunshine is just more pleasant, puts a smile on your face, and on mine too. And with this smile, I salute you and yours my way. Here is to here, and here is to now, Baba. The gratitudes and the credits. Ray, a young man with great technical skills, stood steadfast with me throughout all the tech work and technical hurdles, step by step, and to the last minutes of recording and reconnecting the recorded works, including building a recording studio at the first place. Thank you, Ray.